Hi, everybody. It's Miss Jacobson again, and I want to welcome you to this hour of our virtual field trip. And we have a very special guest with us today. This is Wrangler Bob Myers from the American International Rattlesnake Museum. And I've known you, Wrangler Bob, for many years, but today's the first day we actually met in person.
Yes, yes.
And Wrangler Bob's been coming out to schools and helping schools in APS relocate rattlesnakes that think that they want to play on the playground. But he also has a lot of experience with reptiles of all kinds. So tell us a little bit about what you do in the museum, and then we'll talk about what you brought today.
Okay. Well, you got the name right. Nobody ever gets the full name of the Rattlesnake Museum, American International Rattlesnake Museum. To our friends, we're just Rattlesnake Museum, and you're welcome to use that.
Okay.
But we have been in Old Town now for 30 years.
Wow.
I'm the director of the museum, and I'm really missing my field trips right now, so I am pleased, and I thank you for inviting me.
Well, we're delighted to have you, and we've got students of all ages watching during this hour. We had a kindergarten first grade hour that just ended, and we'll have second and third grade after this, but we may have some older kids join. And so we asked you just to bring a smattering of what was represented in your museum. And how many animals do you have, or how many different kinds of animals do you have in your museum?
Well, the total number I'm not real sure of, but the number of different rattlesnake species ranges from 30 to 34 at any one time. And then we have a lot of non-venomous snakes, some lizards, some turtles, some arachnids, spiders and scorpions.
So these are animals that some are native to New Mexico, but some may come from other parts of the country or other parts of the world.
Right. In fact, all rattlesnakes are American. They come from North, Central, and South America.
Okay.
We call that the Western Hemisphere. So rattlesnakes are all American animals.
Okay. And the kinds that live in New Mexico, the only one that I really know about is a diamondback rattler. And I think you said that this skin here is, can we show it to the camera so that the kids can see it? So tell us about this guy.
Okay. Well, this is more than just a diamondback rattlesnake. It's the Western diamondback rattlesnake.
Okay.
Not to be confused with the Eastern diamondback rattlesnake.
Okay.
This one is found in our part of the country, the Eastern diamondback in the southeastern part of the country, Florida, and some of the areas in the surrounding states there.
Is this pretty typical of the length and size of what a rattler would be?
Well, this is a pretty good sized snake. This one is probably a little over 5 feet. And this one in death would be longer than it was in life. When the skin is off a snake, the skin is longer than the live snake was by maybe 20%.
Oh, wow. So the actual living animal would have probably been about from here to where my hand is here.
Yeah.
About like so.
A little bit longer.
Okay.
So this is the skin from a snake that died. This is the full skin. And I brought along too a shed skin from a snake still living. This one is a little more fragile. I compare its texture to a paper towel.
Oh.
And if we pull too hard, like a paper towel, we will pull it apart, right?
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
So I'll give you the head end again.
Okay, all right. Wow. And what kind of snake was this?
This was the same snake, the Western diamondback rattlesnake.
What a difference. The thing I noticed is, like on this one, some of the little scales here are almost transparent. I can see my hand through the little scales here. But on this one, the skin that came off of the dead snake, you can't see them, but you can also see they almost look golden. They have like a metallic gold look to them. And I don't know what causes that. Do you have an explanation for that?
Well, pigments in the skin. We're going to talk a little bit more about that as we get some of the live snakes out.
Okay.
But, some snakes have an iridescence. They reflect light in special ways.
Now, this one I notice on the shed skin, I don't know, boys and girls, if you can see this, but there's even skin over its eyes that is clear.
Right. There is a scale that covers the eyes. That's called the brill. And when the snake sheds its skin, that brill sheds too. So if they happen to scratch it, injure it in any way, it's okay. They'll get a new one.
They'll get a new one. Okay.
But they can see through that. They have no eyelids. Snakes have no eyelids, so they can't close their eyes.
Okay.
They don't sleep with their eyes closed. They always appear to be awake.
Yeah. Now, how often would a diamondback like this shed its skin?
Okay, a younger snake would shed more frequently as it grows. So a young snake may shed 4 to 6 times in its first year. And by the time it's a 20-year-old snake, like this would have been, the shedding may only occur once or twice a year.
And how long can they live?
Well, in the wild, most snakes don't live to be 1 year old.
Really?
Snakes are a nice, tasty meal for so many different animals that they don't survive beyond that first year. Probably 9 out of 10 don't. They also succumb to harsh weather conditions and people and cars.
Sure.
And a lot die early. If they can manage to live a year or two in the wild and attain a larger size, they're more likely to be able to defend themselves against many of the predators.
And what are some of those predators?
Oh, gosh, in the wild, among the mammals, it could be skunks, raccoons, foxes, even bears have been known to eat snakes. A lot of birds, the birds of prey, the hawks, the owls, the eagles, and our state bird, the roadrunner, is a big snake and lizard eater.
Yes, they are.
There are even some snakes, mostly the king snakes, that eat smaller snakes, even small rattlesnakes.
Okay. Now, before we started today, we were talking a little bit about a book we read the other day that maybe had some misinformation about a rattlesnake and how it is formed and how it appears to indicate their age. So can you clear up some confusion about, I see you brought some rattles here, and we're going to see some real rattles here in a minute.
Yes.
So tell us about the rattles.
Sure. As I start that, when we get people back down to the museum, we have a wonderful trivia quiz. It includes 24 of the most misinterpreted information pieces about snakes. And number 1 on that list is the rattle. So many people believe that they can tell the age of a rattlesnake by counting the segments in that snake's rattle. You're welcome to take that out of the bag if you'd like.
Yeah, this is quite a long one here.
Yeah. The rattle is made of keratin, like our fingernails. It's the identical substance to our fingernails. And as the rattle gets older, just like our fingernails getting longer, it gets brittle and pieces break off. Chips and cracks, segments can come off. So as the rattle gets older, those oldest segments towards the end of the rattle start to break off. So as I said before, a young rattlesnake might shed 6 times in the first year, gaining a new segment for each one of those sheds.
So if they shed 6 times, they get 6 new segments on their rattle.
Right. So if you look at that snake and count the segments and assume that snake is now 6 years old or more, you're wrong by quite a bit.
There's 15 that I can count, and then there might have been some that broke off.
It looks like there were a few that broke off already. So 15 might be an indication of a snake that's 3, 4, 5 years old.
So we're not going to be able to tell really accurately from that.
No.
Okay. Well, I would imagine that the kids would really like to see some of the animals that you brought, not just hear us talk about them. So what would you like to start with today?
We're going to start with the smallest snake I brought.
Okay.
By the way, the snakes are very anxious to be on TV. They miss the kids.
I'm sure they do.
We get a lot of kids to the museum, and they're very lonely right now.
Yeah.
So we brought some in. The smallest snake is actually a rattlesnake that lives in the Albuquerque area. It's called the desert Massasauga rattlesnake.
Okay.
Everybody knows the diamondback, maybe even the prairie rattlesnake. But they might not know this one.
I've never heard of it before.
Nope. And it lives right here.
And boys and girls, I want to tell you that we want to be sure that you are not trying to handle snakes in the wild when you're out walking around. We're going to talk a little bit about snake safety. And Wrangler Bob is a professional snake wrangler. He does this for a living. He's been doing it for many, many years. But at home, you should not be doing this if you see snakes out in the wild. So be sure that you're careful about that. Now, while you're getting our little rattlesnake out, I want to point out the flags that are behind us from the American International Museum. Of course, we have our regular American flag here with the 50 stars and the 13 stripes in red and white. But we also have a Revolutionary War flag here that says, "Don't tread on me." And it's just one example in our history in America of how snakes have been used to represent things. And good, bad, or indifferent, whether you like snakes or not, or depending on how this flag might have been used at the time, it's interesting to see the snake represented in that flag. And there are other flags from around this country in our history where the snake has been a key figure in the graphics of a flag.
Exactly. Right? But not the bald eagle. The bald eagle's never appeared on a flag.
Never appeared on a flag.
Interesting. Early in our history, a lot of the early Americans felt that the rattlesnake made a wonderful symbol for this country. They thought that like a rattlesnake, we were ready to defend ourselves, but we would never initiate the battle. Rattlesnakes keep to themselves. They know that they're not usually going to win a battle with a human being.
Right.
So they keep to themselves, they keep quiet, and they don't start a fight. But like a rattlesnake, the early Americans thought that this made a good symbol. If you step on us, tread on us, poke us, try to hurt us, we will defend ourselves like a rattlesnake would. Yeah. And so the rattlesnake made a very good symbol and appeared on quite a few early American flags. A quick little lesson in flags. A lot of kids don't know that our American flag has a name. Old Glory is the name of our American flag. And this flag depicting a rattlesnake is called the Navy Jack. And it is used to this day by the Navy, and it flies on the flagship of the U.S. Navy. Kids might want to look that up online, get a little more information about the Navy Jack.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's meet our first snaky friend. Does this one have a pet name as well as a species name that you told us?
Yeah, we don't have pet names for all of the animals at the museum.
Good. Okay.
Well, I shouldn't say it that way because we have an adoption program or a sponsorship program, and a lot of the snakes that are sponsored do have a pet name.
Okay.
But we don't use them so often.
Right.
They do have a common name. In this case, the desert Massasauga rattlesnake. And they have a scientific name, which we don't even need to use today. But the scientific names come in handy when scientists are speaking back and forth, whether they're from the same country, using the same language or not, they can understand those names because they're in Latin or Greek.
And it's the official name of that species.
Right,
okay.
right. Okay, now
I'm just going to sit here.
Okay. I'm going to set a water bottle here for a size comparison.
Okay.
And you're going to be surprised at how small this little snake is.
Is this the smallest one we have here today?
It is.
It is. Okay.
It is.
And what is that you're using to take him or her out of
well,
there?
this is a tool that we use to lift snakes in and out. We never touch them with our hands. And I do tell the kids, if they see a snake, a rattlesnake, or a non-venomous snake that they're not sure of in the wild, leave it alone. Don't touch it, but don't run from it. Don't be afraid of it.
Right.
Keep a respectful distance, 10 or 15 feet. Take a picture if you've got a phone, and leave it alone. Walk away from it.
Yeah.
He'll be happy, and
you'll be
you'll
happy
be safe.
too.
You'll be safe. So this little guy is surprisingly small.
Oh,
maybe only 10, 12 inches long. I don't know if you can see the rattle is actually shaking, but the rattle is so small that you have to be as close as I am to the snake to even hear that.
He is shaking. I was going to ask our producer to come over and take some pictures. So is he actually, he is. He's moving his rattle.
Yeah, he's nervous.
He's nervous.
As
so
he
that's
feels
a warning.
Threatened by me. It's a nervous habit that a snake has.
Yeah.
We believe in the past that helps snakes save their own lives from big animals that might step on them accidentally.
So they're just saying, watch out, I'm here.
Yes, please don't step on me.
And his tongue is coming out quite a bit. Can you talk? I know they have special skills that they use that tongue for. What is that all about?
That is used to pick up smells in their environment, and it's a very keen sense for the snakes, maybe even more so than dogs. So the tongue flicks out, they pick up odors in the air, and that tongue is slid up into a hole in the roof of the mouth where the smell is analyzed. So he can decide whether or not there's food in the area, possibly danger, or dangerous animal approaching, or a mate.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and it's interesting. He's watching you like crazy, but every now and then he kind of looks this way like, okay, what's she going to do?
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's very aware of what's going on.
He is ready to defend himself.
Okay. My goodness.
And so this snake might be found on the West Mesa here in Albuquerque. That's the north end of their range.
Okay. So boys and girls who are going to school in Zone 3 and maybe even parts of Zone 2, you may be sharing space with this type of rattlesnake. Now, if they see a rattlesnake, you talked about, taking a picture is fine, stay 15 feet away, all of those things. Even though it's kind of cool outside, we probably in the nice parts of the day, we could start seeing them now outside, right?
We're in early April, and this is the time when snakes start to emerge from their dens.
Okay.
If the nights are still cool, they'll stay close to the den and go back in at night when the temperatures drop.
Yeah.
When the night temperatures are up to maybe mid-50s, up to 60, then they might start to migrate away from their den sites. Those dens are just for protection in the colder months. And large groups of snakes might congregate down underground, down low enough that they're below the freeze line.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, let's bring out some more friends here.
Okay.
This one will go back in. Is this a female or a male?
This one appears to be a male.
A male.
It's not easy to tell the difference between a male and female snake. They look pretty much the same, but the male snakes have a slightly longer tail. And without really knowing your snakes, you might not be able to recognize even where the tail starts.
Well, he's so calm and not trying to get away or anything. That kind of surprises me that he's just sitting there.
Yeah. Rattlesnakes tend to be that way. They'll sit still. They'll be ready to defend themselves.
Yeah.
We'll see the next two snakes, the prairie rattlesnake and the western diamondback, are even more defensive.
And they're a lot bigger than this guy.
A lot bigger.
Okay, so let's say goodbye to our little friend here, and we'll bring out one of the other bigger snakes. We have a whole bunch of them back here, you guys. This is so amazing. And there are other animals that are not snakes that are here today, too. We're going to try to get to visit with them as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let's see here. You may want to
I'm going to back up just a little bit. And I noticed that all of my teachers who were here in the room have now left the room.
What happened?
What happened? This beautiful snake happened, I think, is really what it's all about.
Right.
So.
Well, this is the prairie rattlesnake.
The prairie rattlesnake. Oh, my goodness. Look at this one. What a beautiful animal.
Can we get that one on camera? Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah.
Now, this is obviously quite a bit bigger than the little desert Massasauga.
And more curious, too, I can tell. And not very happy with you.
Well, I don't know if happy comes into play, but
but surely watching and being very careful.
This one might be a she.
Might be a she. Okay.
And this is the most common rattlesnake in New Mexico.
Oh, there we go.
And beyond that, the most common rattlesnake, period. Their range is a good part of this country. They even range up into southern Canada and down into Mexico.
Yeah. Oh, what a beautiful snake.
This snake can be found almost anywhere in New Mexico.
Now, tell us, kids will hear a lot that snakes and other reptiles are cold-blooded rather than warm-blooded. Can you explain what that means?
Sure. We use a fancier word. The word is ectothermic.
Okay.
It means that their body temperature is dependent on the surrounding temperature. That might be the rock they're sitting on. It might be the air temperature. But they warm up by going into the sun. They cool off by going into the shade or into water. And where our bodies are a constant temperature. Because of that, we have to eat more. A lot of our food goes into heat production and keeping our bodies warm. Yeah. So where a snake can get by on a meal every week or two or three, We need regular meals every single day. So
well, he's very interested in that water bottle. He just, and now he's looking at me like, who's she? I want to see what she's doing. Beautiful animal. Okay.
All right. So that's the prairie rattlesnake, the most common. Now, if you see one of these in the wild, you might recognize it by this black band right before the rattle.
Yeah.
You'll see a big difference.
And that's common in all of the prairie rattlers. Okay.
And this good point there is that this snake can be variable in color from a light wheat color to almost a forest green.
So depending on what part, they would adapt to their surroundings so that they can camouflage themselves. Okay.
Right.
I'm going this way just a little bit.
Okay.
All right.
There we go.
Yeah, he's a active little guy, isn't he? Or she, maybe. Okay.
All right.
Now this is the diamondback.
This is the western diamondback.
Okay.
And it's a bigger snake. So I am going to graduate from this hook
to the big
this hook.
Okay, and I'm going to back up because he is a longer and larger snake, and I don't want to make him nervous, and I don't want him to make me nervous.
Now, in the wild, a wild snake like these snakes you're seeing would be a little more defensive, more apt to rattle, more apt to get up into a defensive pose, kind of scary looking, but they're just saying, please don't get any closer, you're scaring me. When people say snakes are...
They're not aggressive, and they're not going to search you out.
Right.
They want nothing more than for you to leave them alone, right?
We don't even use the word aggressive when describing a snake. They will not come after a human being.
Wow, now this one has a unique tail.
It does. Let me lay this out so we can see that on camera. The tail, and that is from here to the rattle, is black and white banded. Very typical of the western diamondback. Also typical of a Mojave rattlesnake. But in New Mexico, this snake might be seen in the lower two-thirds of the state, where the Mojave rattlesnake is only seen in the far southwestern corner.
This one has a very distinct shape to his or her head. That head has a very interesting, especially like around where the jaw would be. That's an interesting shape. That's pretty common for this particular animal.
Can you guess why that jaw is wide there?
If I had to guess, I would say because of what it eats. It has to be able to get its mouth open large enough to be able to eat something.
Well, it has something to do with attaining the food. That's where the venom glands are. So when the snake bites into its prey,
that's where
venom is injected, and the snake doesn't eat the food until it's dead.
So is venom basically the same kind of thing as what kids might hear, a poison?
Right, but there is a difference.
And
we teach that at the museum. Here's a good way to remember that. Poison, these are toxins. They're bad substances to our body. The first one, poison, is something that is ingested. The venom is something that is injected.
When it bites you.
So a rattlesnake would be a venomous animal, not a poisonous animal.
Okay. And you brought some examples here of the fangs of two different kinds. And Victor, if you can come over here and take a look at these for just a second. I don't know if the camera can come over here and zoom in on what I'm holding, but Wrangler Bob brought a couple of examples of the types of fangs. And the smaller one, that's from the diamondback?
That's from a rattlesnake, probably about 5 feet long.
Okay.
And the other one is from a snake called the gaboon viper, and it's infamous for the size of its fangs. That's probably from a 4-foot gaboon viper from Africa.
Wow.
And the fang is quite a bit longer.
Yeah, that looks pretty vicious. That would hurt.
Just the stab would hurt. The venom would do the job, though.
Do the job, definitely. Okay, so this diamondback, how would you acquire a diamondback like this for the museum? Was he found or brought in, or was he rescued?
So many of the snakes at the museum are born and raised at other zoos. This one, however, was a rescue snake. Someone was keeping it as a so-called pet. We don't describe them as pets.
No, definitely not a pet.
Not the kind of thing you can get out and sit with and watch TV. But they decided maybe it wasn't the best idea to keep a rattlesnake.
Yeah, I would think so.
They brought it to us.
He's very curious.
Mm-hmm.
And looking around, looking at himself on the monitor and exploring our table here.
Oh, yeah.
He likes your T-shirt, keep calm, it's just a snake. I'm trying to live by that motto, I am. I really like snakes. I think they're they're fun, they're interesting, but you have to be smart about them. Is that correct?
Absolutely. At the Rattlesnake Museum, you would think it would be a dangerous profession, but treated properly with respect, it is not so dangerous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's see who else you brought to show us. I think this one, the kids would really be familiar because we talk a lot about snakes in our science curriculum in ES and in life science, and so that's really wonderful. But you've got some unusual other snakes and things that are here. Is that right?
I'll mention one other thing before I put this snake away. This snake is probably a female and is about 3 feet long, and it might be 3-4 years old.
Okay. She's quite beautiful.
And she's larger than the other snakes that I brought out, but she's still growing, and she could attain a length of over 6 feet.
She could. Wow. Well, she's just beautiful. Boys and girls, it's really interesting to see how they move and, how the under part of their body moves as they're going. Now, he's putting her back in her little container down here, which you cannot see. Do you need the lid here?
I do.
Okay, I'm going to hand that this way.
You don't want to put it on, huh?
No, I don't think I want to put it on.
You are smart.
You're the boss where the snakes are concerned.
Okay.
I'm not afraid, but I'm also not foolish. So now this one is also a rattlesnake that you're going to bring up. Is that correct?
Yes, and not only that, it is exactly the same kind of rattlesnake that we just saw.
But she has, or he has, a difference to him.
Uh-huh.
And that is his color or his pigment.
This is a western diamondback rattlesnake, but it's missing the dark pigment we call melanin.
Okay.
So this snake is albino, or what we like to say, amelanistic, without melanin.
Okay.
So it's quite a bit lighter, but otherwise, genetically, it's the same snake we just saw.
Now, lots of different animal species can be born with that trait of being an albino, and then they may have a white or yellowish fur or hair or skin color. So obviously the reptiles are no different, that can also be something that happens with them. This one has a really beautiful color to his or her face and very distinct eyes. She's looking back over here. She's watching Wrangler Bob, not quite sure what she's got on her mind right now, but
see if I can get her to look the other way.
See if we can look at the camera.
It's hard to see on camera.
She's hard to see, just like anything kind of white. Our cameras don't always pick up that color very well.
Right.
But she is a beauty, and she's got that same shape as the other diamondback rattler to her head, where the venom glands are, right?
And there is musculature back there too. You were right about that.
Now, when she shed or he sheds his skin, when it's an albino snake, is it very different than what we looked at here with the different skins that you showed us?
As you would expect, it's lighter in color too, and more translucent.
And more translucent, okay. So that means, translucent means you can see through it, or sort of see through it.
Right.
So, wow.
So her eyes are kind of a ruby red, which is hard to see.
Yes.
Her tail, rather than being black and white banded,
Ooh.
is white.
She likes you, Mary. I think she wants to come and see you. One of our teachers is here taking pictures and got the attention of this snake, and she wants to come and see you. She knows she's a movie star. She doesn't want to go anywhere. Wow. Victor, can you see her head on this monitor? Can you move that camera just a little bit so that they can see her? She's looking right at you, boys and girls, and trying to get all of her information. And her body makes such a beautiful spiral there. You can't see that from the camera, but the back part of her body is rolled up like a cinnamon roll. And she's just curious about who you all are and what you're doing. And how old do you think this particular snake is?
She is probably in that 3 to 4 year old range.
Same
too.
As this other snake.
We have a different albino western diamondback on exhibit at the museum, maybe 2 times this size, and a little bit richer in that yellow color. This one's a light yellow, the other one is a deeper yellow.
Well, with the albino trait, you can see a lot more detail of her face. Her nostrils and the area around her eyes, you can see all of that a lot more clearly than you could on the diamondback that has the regular pigmentation. That's very interesting.
And something you might be able to see on camera are not only the nostrils and the eyes, but between the two, there's another set of pits.
Okay.
We call the L'Oreal pits. They are heat sensitive. So this snake can recognize a heat signature given off by its prey in total darkness, making them wonderful night hunters.
So it doesn't have to see it because it can smell it and sense it that it's there.
Right.
Wow.
So this group of snakes is called the pit vipers because of those pits in the face.
I've heard that name before but did not know what that meant. So I learned something.
They're a subgroup of the vipers. The 2 big groups of venomous snakes are the vipers and the cobras.
And the cobras. Do we have cobras here today?
We have no cobras here today. We have no cobras in the United States, except in zoos. But we do have coral snakes in the United States that are in that cobra group.
That group.
And have a similar and more dangerous venom than even the rattlesnakes. It's funny, we think of rattlesnakes as being so incredibly dangerous, where in fact, when compared to other snakes around the world, their venoms are relatively mild.
But you still have to be very careful.
Oh, sure.
Especially if you're young and small, you want to be really careful not to put yourself in danger of getting bit. That could really hurt, number one, and it could make you sick. So you want to be very, very careful. And if you were to get bit, what should they do?
Yeah, if you were bitten and you don't know what kind of snake it is, you suspect it could be a venomous snake, first let your parents know and get to the hospital. They'll take a look at that bite and determine whether in fact it was a venomous snake or not by the fang marks and potential swelling right off the bat. And they'll treat you with medicine called antivenin. And it is amazing stuff. It immediately starts to act on the venom in your body.
Mr. Escobedo, our producer, is coming very close, and this snake is watching him. She really is.
I think she likes you.
I think she does. She got very calm all of a sudden when you came close. So.
Right. So,
okay, well, let's bring out another friend. We want to be sure that we see everybody. What's our time right now, Mr. Escobedo? We still have 22 minutes? Okay, so we're doing pretty good. That's a beautiful snake. That really is.
Okay. So now we're going to look at some non-venomous snakes.
Okay.
The first one is probably the most common snake.
Okay. Our flag is falling down, so before you do that, I want to make sure that we put that back up.
Oh, sure.
That would not be a good thing to have an American flag fall down.
No.
We don't want it to touch the ground, ever.
No, no.
Okay.
So we saw the most common rattlesnake in New Mexico, the prairie rattlesnake.
Okay.
Now we're going to see the most common non-venomous snake and really the most common snake
now
in New
you're
Mexico.
reaching in there with your hand,
Right.
which means this guy, he could be, all animals will bite if they're threatened.
Sure.
So this guy could bite.
Uh-huh.
And you told me something about this one before, that he's kind of a rascally dude.
He's a little anxious sometimes. Of course, he's acting calm just to prove me wrong. Maybe he'll start to move around.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't even pick up a wild bull snake for fear that it would bite to defend itself.
Yeah.
Now, it wouldn't. It's not a venomous snake, so it wouldn't hurt. Wouldn't
But it
hurt
wouldn't
you.
be fun.
It
Yeah.
wouldn't be any fun.
And not for him either, because he would be scared.
Right.
And he would only do that because he was frightened.
Sure.
Yeah.
But this snake is called a bull snake, or in the western part of its range, a gopher snake.
Now, he looks an awful lot like some of the venomous snakes that we saw, so it would be easy to confuse them, I would imagine.
It could be confusing. Something that the gopher or bull snake does is to shake its tail in the same nervous habit that a rattlesnake has. To see the tail shaking confuses a lot of people, and they add to that a hissing sound that sounds a lot like a rattlesnake's rattle.
Okay.
They'll actually gape their mouth a little bit and hiss. And if you don't know any better, it's pretty scary.
Yeah, I would imagine that would not be pleasant to see that. So, but certainly a beautiful, beautiful animal. Can I touch him?
Oh, sure. He's holding on to me very tight. He knows he's up in the air.
Yeah, and I don't want to scare him or anything. Because he has a really beautiful texture, and he's kind of cool to touch him. He's cool. And then his underneath part is very slick. And why the difference between the texture up here and the texture that's down below?
Well, down below, those scales are used more in locomotion and moving.
Okay, so they help him move along the ground.
The scales on top of this snake and most rattlesnakes are keeled. They have a little ridge down each scale.
Yeah,
where other snakes, like the cobras and the king snakes, have smooth scales.
And he's got a beautiful little tail that's sticking out right here. He's not shaking it or anything.
No.
He's looking at the underneath part of this table like, ooh, that would be a fun place to go hide and get away from this woman. But he does have beautiful, beautiful markings, too.
He's holding on tight.
Yes, he is.
So he doesn't fall.
Yeah.
Basically.
So he's treating you like he might treat a bush or a tree or...
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he's hiding on there.
Bob the tree.
You're just a tree wrangler, Bob. Yeah. Oh, he's quite lovely.
So, yeah.
Okay, who else do we have?
Okay. If I can untangle him from my fingers.
Yeah, he's holding on tight there.
He sure is. I got to be careful he doesn't jump out of there.
If he does, I'm going to go like running the other direction.
Oh, no, you're my assistant. You have to grab
I can't go out.
him.
Yeah, you're not on here. His head is right there. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was watching his nose.
Yeah, I don't want to pinch him.
No. Okay, now we're getting, let's take a little detour and look at another venomous animal.
You know, boys and girls, I have heard about this animal that you're going to see. I understand she is something like 32 years old.
She is our oldest animal. Mm-hmm.
And if you've ever read the book, Gila Monsters Meet You at the Airport, which is a wonderful, wonderful children's story about people who think it's kind of different here in the Southwest, she's the star of a children's book. But let's go ahead and bring her out.
She's been in a lot of movies.
Oh, she has.
Documentaries.
Okay.
There she
this
is.
Particular?
This very Gila monster.
This very Gila monster. Now, she's not venomous.
She is venomous.
She is venomous. Okay, my mistake.
Yep.
And she will bite and bite hard.
She will defend herself in just the same way we described. Her venom glands are in the lower part of her jaw.
Down here, okay.
And she doesn't have hollow fangs like a rattlesnake.
Let's
she has
bring her up.
grooved teeth. Let me move her up.
And she has the most interesting feet. So here she comes, and Bob's going to bring her up. She's beautiful. Oh, my goodness sake. Look at this.
This is Molly. She does have a pet name. And
Victor, can you get in here tight on Molly here? She's got this beautiful reddish-orange color to her. I don't know if you can really tell that on the camera, kids, but she's got a beautiful, beautiful pattern to her skin, and she's got these great webby feet. Is it possible to hold her up so that they can see her?
Sure can.
See her
Now,
body shape?
I'm cautious with her.
Yes, I'm sure you are.
Not quite so like a rattlesnake, but
so
she
you're
will
being careful so her head
herself.
doesn't get away with you. So I noticed she has, can I touch her?
You can.
She has these lovely little claws on her feet that probably give her traction, right? So she can move around.
And she digs.
And she digs. Okay. Do they like to burrow and get into the dirt?
They're underground most of their life.
Zoom in here, Victor. Get as close as you can here, and let's take a look. And she's got her tongue out too, so she's smelling things and looking around. She has kind of an interesting look on her face, like kind of a smile, but not really. Now, what is her...
We had a cut. 2, 1.
So welcome back, kids. We've got a special animal coming out here today. I understand her name is Molly.
Molly.
And she is a Gila monster.
She is.
How did she get her name Gila monster?
Well, that's a good question.
Let's bring her out. I think they'd like to see her while we tell them about it.
All right. Now, I have to be careful with her like I would any venomous animal.
And she is venomous.
She is a venomous lizard, the only venomous lizard in North America.
Here she comes.
And there is Molly.
And Molly is going to be 32 years old.
Yes, she is.
Wow.
She is one old lizard, and she's probably the favorite of most of the people that come to the museum on a regular basis. They can't wait to see Molly.
I'm sure. And they, like you said, they are venomous. They do bite. And she's got a pretty large jaw, so it could hurt badly if she bit you.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful. But I want to touch her if that's okay. I just don't want to touch by her head.
Let me give you her tail end.
Yeah. Now, her tail, much different feel to her scales than the snakes that we had out. She's a little bit more spiky, more like a dinosaur scale than what I would expect. And she's got these wonderful feet that have these little claws on them. What does she do with her claws?
Well, she digs.
She digs.
Gila monsters spends most of their time, 98% of their time, underground.
Ooh. I think she's ticklish. She kind of expanded her sides when I touched her there. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I don't want to make you mad, but you're very fun. Oh, my goodness.
Isn't she wonderful, though?
Why do they call him a monster, though? I wonder where that came from.
Well,
she's anything but a monster.
Early on, when people were seeing these, they thought that just looking at one could kill you, touching one could. It turns out they are a venomous animal.
Yeah.
But you have to get awfully close and
being awfully foolish.
Frighten the Gila monster into protecting itself.
Yeah.
Just like a rattlesnake.
Yeah. Well, she's quite lovely. She's got a beautiful color to her skin. I don't know if you can really see, but she's kind of orange and then has some yellowish parts and then the black here on her skin. Now, does she shed her skin like a snake does?
Well, she sheds her skin, but unlike a snake that sheds its skin, usually in one big piece or several big pieces, she loses a little bit at a time.
Okay, so she gets flaky.
She gets flaky.
Okay.
And like some of my relatives. And you can see that parts have shed recently and parts are preparing to shed.
There's a piece right here that looks like it's going to come off here pretty soon. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. Oh, she's beautiful. Well, Molly, we're very glad you came to see us.
Molly is glad to be here.
I bet.
She's a star.
She is a star. And she's so muscular. She's really got some great muscles on her. And she's just being real quiet, just kind of watching and doing. Mm-hmm. So, all right. Okay. Well, we've got just a few minutes left, so we want to make sure we get to see all of your friends that you brought. And I know you have one particular one that is rather large that we want to see here in a minute. But
okay, let's go just a little out of order.
Now,
we'll bring out another favorite of the visitors to the Rattlesnake Museum.
Is this one usually outside of the museum in that area that you have outside?
If it's warm enough, right.
If you've been to the Old Town Rattlesnake Museum, you will recognize this animal. And is it a he or she?
This one's a he.
Oh, my goodness, look at this.
Oh, boy, and he is heavy.
How much does he weigh?
He weighs just over 30 pounds.
Oh, he's just beautiful.
How close can we zoom in on that face?
We can probably get pretty close on this face right here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, here he comes. Now, tell us, what is his species? What kind of animal is he? He's not just a turtle.
No, he is an African spurred tortoise. By the way, tortoises are turtles, so you can use either word. And this is the third largest tortoise in the world.
Wow.
We know the Galapagos tortoises. We know the Aldabra tortoises. Yeah. This is number 3, and they live in Africa.
Now, can he feel this when I'm rubbing on his shell here?
He can.
He can feel that. He's looking over here at me kind of as I do this, kind of like, who are you, lady?
He might be saying thank you. It might feel good.
It might feel good. I'm trying not to scratch him or anything. He's got really interesting scales on his front legs that remind me a lot of what we would think a dinosaur would look like. Has these, can I touch him?
You bet.
I always want to ask first, but he's got these beautiful little points right here on his legs, and then he's got his toes and his nails, I would imagine, for digging as well. Is that correct? Oh, here we go. He says, I want to go somewhere. I'm going to go walking.
Yeah, and he is strong.
I bet he is. Yeah. He is so beautiful. And then when tortoises or other kinds of animals who have shells like this, when they're afraid, what he just did, he thought I was going to touch him.
Right, he's moving away.
So he got into his shell. Now, can he bring everything all the way in?
Not like a box turtle.
Not like a box turtle. Okay.
But he can draw in pretty close. And those big scales on his legs you were describing are for protection. He can defend himself.
With those, yeah. When I was a kid, we had a box turtle named Mean Joe Green, and he lived in our backyard. And 20 years after we found him, he was still sitting there. He was still hanging in there in the backyard up in the west side of Albuquerque. Now, how did the museum acquire this gentleman here?
He was another rescue. He was someone's pet. They probably bought him in a pet shop when he was the size of an apple, and they grow quickly. And I think they were surprised to see how large he was getting.
Yeah.
And for that reason, we don't suggest this type of tortoise as a pet.
Right.
They just get too big for most people's yards.
And you can't handle them.
They're strong. They're destructive. They can tear the stucco right off your house.
Oh, my goodness. How old is this guy, do you think?
He's about 20.
About 20. And how old could he live? How long could he live?
He could live over 75 years.
Wow. So he's the kind of animal that if you had one, you would have to make arrangements for somebody to care for him after you're no longer able to do that. Wow.
Right.
We've got about 10 minutes left, and we've got a couple more friends that we want to bring out. So we're going to say goodbye to our tortoise. You know, the Galapagos tortoises, those huge ones that we hear about, can live to be several hundred years old. Is that not correct?
Definitely over 100. I don't know if there are any accurate records. I've heard 153 years.
Oh, wow. That's
but
amazing.
It could go beyond that. So I'm going to bring out two snakes here, one for you to hold.
Oh, great. I'm so excited. This snake is the most beautiful snake I've ever seen. And I get to hold him?
Yes.
What kind of snake is this? Hi, darling.
This is a ball python.
A ball python. And I want to hold, and she's going to squeeze me, and that's okay. Want her to do that. Hi there. I love this. Oh, my gosh, Miss Lindy, can you see? She's looking at you. She says, I'm ready for my selfie. Yes, definitely. Now, she has some unusual markings on her. Why? Is she also an albino?
No, but she's got a pattern color aberration called piebald.
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 I've heard that where horses are concerned, but I've never heard it about snakes. So.
Now, this is a ball python that is a normal color and pattern for this snake species.
Wow. So you can kind of see, yeah. And even though they're the same species, her patterning on her head and everything is really different, too, than his. And it looks like he's been doing some shedding as well.
Right, there's a little piece of
right there. He's got a lot
here.
of... When he came out, there was some that came down on the floor. Oh,
Yep.
I'm sorry. We don't want to hurt you, no. We really don't. He's looking. Now, do these two know each other?
They do not. They've never even seen each other before today.
She's not looking. She's like, I don't want anything to do with you. And he is like, who is that beautiful girl?
Right.
So he's very, very interested in her, but she's playing hard to get here. She don't want anything to do with him. And she's gripping on my arms rather tightly. So is that something that a python like this would do naturally, is kind of wrap themselves around, like when you were tree bob for others, or bull snake?
Although they'll use that to obtain their food too. They'll grab hold of a food item, a rodent as an example, and they wrap around it and squeeze so tight that the animal can't breathe.
And that's how they gain their food. So now she's not going to try to do that with me. I'm too big to eat. But she's definitely cuddling here just a little bit. She is. Everybody in the studio is laughing at me. She is. I mean, hey, you want to come and hold this snake? I don't think so. I'm being brave here.
You are brave.
My mother told me don't hold the snakes today. So, Mom, sorry, I'm not behaving. I'm doing what you told me not to do. But this one is not venomous, right?
Not venomous. This is a bad time to ask that question,
Well,
though.
yeah, it could be a lot worse.
Okay.
I know you well enough, Wrangler Bob, that you would never put anybody in danger. So I know that you would hand me a snake that's going to behave itself.
You are right about that.
And even the bull snake that you had, because he's such a squirrely guy, I wasn't going to be able to hold him. But she's cold to touch. She's very smooth, unlike the Gila monster who had kind of rough, pointy scales. This one, she feels almost like a leather jacket. I mean, she's got that. No, that's actually, no, we don't want that to happen. But she feels that way. Sorry, kids.
A lot of kids will say it feels like a football or a basketball.
It does have the same texture of a football or a basketball. That's true. They're beautiful, beautiful animals. How many kids do you see at the museum every year, do you think?
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Kids, maybe 25,000.
Wow. So we're looking forward to a time when we can be back open and have them coming back to the Rattlesnake Museum in Old Town.
Can't wait for the day.
Great. Yeah. So now you have one more friend here in this terrarium that we want to see. Can I just hold on to her while you're talking about
Sure. I'll mention one other thing about the ball pythons. This is the #1 pet snake. Now, these are produced for the pet trade, and this is a snake you might get at a pet shop. They make good pets, but they can live long lives. The longest lived snake ever was a ball python that lived to the age of 47.
Oh, my goodness.
So
you really have to take care of them, keep them clean, keep them well fed, make sure that you're seeing to their needs if they get sick.
Sure.
It's a lot of responsibility to have any kind of pet, and snakes are no different than that. So if that's something that you're interested in, I like this one. She could go home with me.
While you hold her,
okay, so we're
going to take a look at the last animal.
And we're going to try to zoom in here as close as we can. What do you have there?
This is a black widow spider, and one of the most popular animals at the Rattlesnake Museum. Now, if you live in Albuquerque, you probably have black widow spiders in your backyard, and yet she draws an awful lot of attention.
Yeah.
The black widow spider is a venomous animal, like venomous snakes, and her venom is much stronger than a rattlesnake's venom.
Oh, it is,
However,
for something so small.
She's got so little venom, she's not particularly dangerous to human beings.
Okay.
If you were a little cricket like she eats at the museum, you'd be in big trouble to be in that enclosure with her.
And how can you tell if a spider is a black widow? What's your first clue?
Well, the females are the ones we recognize so easily, the black, shiny spiders with, I think they have an elegant look. The males are half the size and they're brown, and we don't even notice them most of the time. And the black widow spiders tend to have that hourglass-shaped red marking on their belly.
Okay.
So you can't see it if you're looking at the top of the spider.
But if you see them in their web, underneath them, you're going to see that red, looks like almost like two triangles together. And so that's kind of a warning to not put your hand in there, not try to grab it, or anything like that. Yeah. I think kids probably have seen these in their corners in dark garages and those kinds of things. So now, how are the snakes being taken care of during the school closures and all of these things? Are you're the person who's going in and feeding them all the time?
I am. My wife helps out. We're there every other day to feed and clean and water animals.
And keep them safe. Yeah.
And the building has to be kept warm through the cooler nights.
Yeah.
And so business as usual, except no people.
No people.
And we're sad about that.
Yeah, I would imagine that you are, but I'm so glad that you brought these guys to see us today. Everybody here that's in the filming room with us has been taking pictures and really enjoying our time together. And I think that, there's a lot of boys and girls out there who may never have seen some of the things that you brought us today. I know there's lots that I never got to see, up close and personal, especially Molly.
Yeah.
Or be within 6 feet of a rattlesnake. which you don't ever want to be 6 feet from a rattlesnake. You need to stay back, according to Wrangler Bob, 15 feet.
That's social distancing
Social
with a
distancing
rattlesnake.
with the rattlesnake. I love that. Now, these animals, though, they will not catch coronavirus or anything like that.
They won't.
They will not. So we want to make sure that they're healthy and safe, just like everybody wants you to be healthy and safe. And when we're all back together face-to-face again, back in school, we'll have an opportunity for some schools to come down to the Rattlesnake Museum and meet these guys face-to-face. And I'm just going to kind of sit here with my friend. Does this one have a name, actually?
Not yet, but I was thinking maybe Miss Jamie.
Okay.
How would that be?
I will have a snake named after me. I love her. I think she's just beautiful. She's fun to hold. She's like my handcuffs here. I've got snaky handcuffs going, and I think she's just very happy to stay right where she is and just stay with me all day. So thank you so much for being with us today. Really
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Oh, well, we loved it. And so have a wonderful day, everybody. And thanks for joining us at home with APS. And we'll see you again in our next segment. She's really got me hold on tight.
I think she likes you.
Hi, Miss Jamie.